Your grocery bill went up again last month, and let's be completely honest, you felt it. Everybody did. The average household is now spending an absolute fortune every single year just on fresh produce, vegetables, salad greens, tomatoes, and peppers. Things that used to feel incredibly cheap, but now feel like luxury items when you reach the checkout counter. It is deeply frustrating because so many everyday families, home gardeners with small backyards, and even small-scale farmers are sitting on a resource that could quietly eliminate a massive chunk of that grocery bill entirely. I am not talking about clipping coupons or using loyalty cards. I am talking about the incredible power of a simple, strategic home remedy and household-backed container garden. I want you to do this math slowly with me, because the numbers are going to completely surprise you. A single cherry tomato plant, grown in a basic 5-gallon bucket on your back porch, can easily produce anywhere from 8 to 15 pounds of rich, sweet fruit between June and the very first frost of winter. At the grocery store right now, organic cherry tomatoes are running at astronomical prices per pint. When you multiply that across multiple plants, managed with simple, cost-effective remedies, you are looking at hundreds of dollars of beautiful produce sitting right on your porch, growing effortlessly, while you sit outside, drinking your morning coffee. If you want to stop overpaying for your food and start unlocking the hidden potential of your household items to grow an abundant harvest, hit that subscribe button right now. It is a warm, free way to join our family, and it ensures that these practical, real-world gardening secrets land right in your feed every single week. While you are doing that, please drop your location in the comments below. Whether that is your specific city, a quiet rural village, your local district, or your country. We have an incredible community of everyday households, passionate home gardeners, and hard-working small-scale farmers, tuning in from every corner of the world, and knowing exactly where you are digging into the earth helps me tailor this timeless wisdom to the real climates and conditions you are facing every single day. Let's dive right into our first household-backed powerhouse, which is the humble tomato, specifically indeterminate cherry varieties. Most commercial garden centers will never tell you this, but these plants do not stop producing. They behave like non-stop harvest factories until the frost hits. To maximize their growth without spending a dime on chemical fertilizers, you need to look no further than your kitchen trash can for a classic household remedy. Discarded eggshells. Eggshells are an extraordinary, natural source of calcium carbonate, which strengthens plant cell walls and prevents the fruit from rotting at the base. To prepare this, simply save the shells from your morning breakfast. Rinse them thoroughly with fresh water, and let them dry out completely until they have that brittle, paper-like texture. Crush them into a fine, powdery meal using an old blender or a mortar and pestle. For a home gardener planting a single cherry tomato in a 5-gallon container, you will want to mix 2 generous handfuls of this fine powder directly into the soil at the very bottom of the planting hole, so the deep roots can access it immediately. If you are a small-scale farmer managing a larger plot or an extensive row of containers, you can apply this at a larger scale by broadcasting a pound of crushed eggshell powder per 100 feet of planting space. The best time to apply this foundational remedy is during the cool, early morning hours, right at the time of planting, and you can replenish it by scratching a tablespoon of the powder into the top inch of the soil once every month. As you work it in, you will notice the beautiful, earthy smell of freshly turned soil, mixing with the natural texture of the shells, a sure sign that you are building a thriving environment for your plants. But here is where it gets really interesting, because you can follow that up with another magnificent kitchen staple that most people throw away without realizing what it can do. Leftover coffee grounds. Coffee grounds are packed with natural nitrogen, which is the exact fuel your peppers, sweet banana varieties, and hot jalapenos crave to build deep green, lush foliage and strong stems. You can find this resource right in your own coffee pot every single morning. The basic logic here is that as coffee grounds decompose, they slowly release nitrogen into the soil, while gently improving its structure, making it highly air-filled and perfect for root expansion. To use this safely without altering your soil's pH balance, always use used coffee grounds rather than fresh ones, as the brewing process washes away the excess acidity. For the home gardener, tending to balcony pots or kitchen beds, take about half a cup of dried, used coffee grounds and scatter them evenly around the base of each pepper plant. For a medium-scale farmer looking for a cost-effective solution across a quarter-acre or a large bank of growing pots, you can mix dried coffee grounds into your irrigation water or layer them into a large-scale compost pile at a ratio of roughly 20% of the total pile volume. Apply this remedy early in the morning before the heat of the day sets in, right as the plants enter their active spring growth phase, and repeat the application once every 3 weeks. When you water the earth afterward, you will hear the soothing sound of water soaking into dry earth, carrying those rich, dark nutrients straight down to the thirsty roots below. Your grandmother probably knew this next one, but somehow it got completely forgotten along the way, especially when it comes to growing heavy-yielding zucchini, summer squash, and compact eggplants. If you want to keep destructive soft-bodied pests like aphids and spider mites from destroying your beautiful green leaves, you can create a highly effective, non-toxic insecticidal spray using basic liquid dish soap from your kitchen sink. The science behind this household remedy is wonderfully simple. The fatty acids in natural liquid dish soap break down the protective waxy outer coating of these tiny pests, causing them to dehydrate and clear out without leaving any harsh chemical residues on the food you are about to feed your family. To prepare this potent mixture, take exactly 1 tablespoon of a mild, non-scented liquid dish soap and mix it thoroughly into 1 gallon of lukewarm water inside a clean container. For the home gardener working with a few pots on a deck or patio, pour this mixture into a standard handheld spray bottle and thoroughly coat both the tops and the hidden undersides of the leaves until they are glistening. For a small-scale farmer dealing with rows of squash or eggplant, scale up the recipe by mixing 5 tablespoons of soap into a 5-gallon backpack sprayer. It is absolutely critical that you apply this remedy during the late evening hours, after the intense sun has gone down, as spraying leaves in the middle of a hot afternoon can cause the sun to scorch the damp foliage. Use this treatment once every 7 days at the very first sign of a pest breakout, and always apply it after a heavy rain has washed the leaves clean. Now, as your garden begins to expand, and you start thinking about fast-producing vining crops like cucumbers, trained up a vertical trellis, or rapid-yield bush beans, you might run into the dreaded issue of powdery mildew, a white, dusty fungus that covers your deep green leaves and saps the plant's energy. The ultimate household remedy for this is sitting right inside your refrigerator door: common cow's milk. The fascinating science here revolves around the natural proteins and amino acids in milk, which act as a powerful, natural fungicide when exposed to sunlight, creating a protective barrier that prevents fungal spores from taking hold of your plants. To craft this remedy, blend 1 part milk with 9 parts fresh water. For example, mix roughly 1 cup of milk into 9 cups of water for a standard home garden application. If you are a farmer looking to protect an entire field or an expansive greenhouse array of vertical cucumbers and beans, you can mix 2 gallons of milk into 18 gallons of water inside a large agricultural tank sprayer. This is one of the few remedies that actually requires sunlight to activate its full potential, so the absolute best time to apply it is during the mid-morning hours on a bright, clear day, allowing the sun to dry the mixture directly onto the leaves. Spray your crops thoroughly once every 2 weeks as a preventative measure during warm, humid weather when fungus thrives, and you will find that your plants maintain a vibrant, deep green color all through the season. Most people overlook this next incredible item, treating it as nothing more than kitchen waste. But your baking pantry holds the secret to an extraordinary soil tonic and natural pest deterrent: ordinary baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate. This is a spectacular remedy for maximizing the health of your lettuce, salad bars, and fast-growing radishes. Baking soda alters the pH balance on the surface of plant leaves, making it completely impossible for harmful fungal spores to survive, while also acting as a mild deterrent for crawling insects that dislike the alkaline powdery texture. To make this at home, dissolve 1 teaspoon of baking soda and half a teaspoon of liquid dish soap into 1 gallon of water, shaking the container vigorously until the powder is fully dissolved, with no sediment left at the bottom. The home gardener can easily mist this over their shallow lettuce bowls and radish tops, using a simple spray bottle, ensuring even coverage across the delicate greens. For a medium-scale farmer cultivating large beds of leafy greens, scale the mixture to 1/3 of a pound of baking soda per 50 gallons of water to cover a substantial growing area efficiently. Apply this solution during the calm, cool hours of the early morning before the morning dew completely evaporates, repeating the process once every 10 to 12 days, or immediately after a heavy rainstorm has cleared the air. As we move along, let's talk about a household resource that is created every single time you clean out your wood-burning stove or enjoy an outdoor fire pit. Clean, natural wood ash. If you are growing robust greens like Swiss chard, iron-rich spinach, or deep-rooted carrots, wood ash is an absolute goldmine because it is incredibly rich in potassium, and essential trace minerals that promote strong root development and sweeten the flavor of your root crops. The logic here is that potassium acts as a natural regulator, helping plants manage their water intake and strengthening their resistance to early frost and disease. To use wood ash correctly, ensure it is completely cold and gathered only from clean, untreated hardwood. Never use ash from charcoal briquettes or chemically treated lumber. For a home gardener with a series of 10-gallon grow bags or compact raised beds, lightly sprinkle half a cup of fine wood ash directly onto the soil surface around the base of your Swiss chard, spinach, and carrot tops. Then gently scratch it into the earth using your fingers or a small hand rake, feeling the rough texture of the dried leaves and soil as you work. For a small-scale farmer looking for a cost-effective soil amendment across long field rows, broadcast the fine ash at a rate of 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet of cultivation space. The ideal time to apply this mineral-rich remedy is in the late autumn or the very early spring before planting, allowing the winter rains to melt the nutrients deep into the earth, and it should only be used once per growing season to keep your soil balance perfectly tuned. But what about those stubborn underground pests, like root maggots and voracious cutworms, that try to chew through your bunching onions, scallions, and developing beetroots before you ever get a chance to harvest them? The solution is sitting right in your spice rack, and it is regular kitchen cornmeal. Cornmeal contains a natural abundance of beneficial fungi that are completely harmless to your plants, but actively target and suppress harmful soil-borne pathogens, while its textured starch structure creates a physical environment that disrupts the feeding cycles of destructive crawling larvae. To prepare this simple household remedy, you don't need any complex mixing steps or heavy equipment. Just take standard, coarse yellow cornmeal straight from your pantry. A home gardener can take a handful of this dry cornmeal and scatter it in a continuous circle around the base of their onion pots and beet containers, ensuring it creates a protective ring on top of the soil. A small-scale farmer managing larger beds can drill cornmeal directly into the seed furrows at a rate of 2 pounds per 100 linear feet during the planting process. The best time to apply this subterranean protectant is during the early evening hours, when soil moisture is steady, right at the beginning of the spring planting window, and you can reapply a light dusting once every 4 weeks to keep the natural protective barrier active through the summer. As we move into the cooler seasons and you start packing your space with high-density champions like sugar snap peas, crisp arugula, and hardy kale, you need a powerful, natural way to stimulate rapid root growth and protect young seedlings from the devastating effects of transplant shock. You can create an exceptional, nutrient-dense rooting tonic using nothing more than natural apple cider vinegar from your pantry cupboard. The basic science here is that the mild acetic acid in organic vinegar, when highly diluted, acts as a gentle biostimulant that increases nutrient uptake and helps unleash locked-up minerals within the soil medium. To safely prepare this household tonic, mix exactly 1 teaspoon of raw apple cider vinegar into 1 gallon of fresh, clean water, stirring gently until it is fully integrated. For the home gardener working with small starter pots or balcony containers, use this solution to water your young kale, arugula, and pea seedlings immediately after moving them into their permanent homes. For a medium-scale farmer transitioning thousands of plugs into larger fields, this dilution can be run directly through a drip irrigation system at a ratio of 1 part vinegar solution to 1,000 parts water. Apply this powerful root-boosting remedy during the late afternoon when the sun's rays are fading, which allows the roots to absorb the tonic overnight without any evaporation stress. Use it exactly once at the time of transplanting, and then follow up with a second application 2 weeks later for truly spectacular, fast-growing results. Most people throw away the water left over after boiling hard-boiled eggs, pasta, or fresh vegetables, but you are wasting a magnificent, nutrient-loaded liquid fertilizer that can do absolute wonders for your heavy-producing broccoli crowns and deep-yielding potato containers. When you boil these everyday foods in your kitchen, essential minerals like calcium, phosphorus, and potassium leach directly into the water, creating a highly bioavailable, liquid plant food that costs absolutely nothing to produce. The science is incredibly straightforward. Instead of letting these precious minerals run down the kitchen drain, you are returning them directly to the biological cycle of your garden. To prepare this liquid gold, simply allow the cooking water to sit on your counter until it cools down completely to room temperature. Never apply hot water to a container, as it will damage the delicate root hairs. For a home gardener tending to broccoli or a series of 5-gallon potato buckets, pour this cooled water directly onto the soil surface until you hear it soaking into the dry earth and see it trickling out of the drainage holes at the bottom. For a small-scale farmer looking to utilize this remedy, kitchen wastewater from large-scale food prep can be collected in clean holding barrels and distributed across intensive growing beds using standard watering cans. Apply this rich, liquid nutrient boost during the early morning hours, using it once a week throughout the active growing season to continuously feed your heavy-feeding crops. Finally, let's look at our 19th powerhouse crop, the magnificent sweet potato, which responds beautifully to an extraordinary household spray made from basic black tea from your kitchen pantry. Black tea is packed with natural tannins and antioxidants that act as an exceptional foliar tonic, strengthening the outer leaves against environmental stress and deterring chewing insects from damaging the sprawling vines. To prepare this, steep 3 standard black tea bags in 1 gallon of boiling water until it forms a deep, amber-colored liquid, then allow it to cool completely. Home gardeners can pour this cooled tea into a simple spray bottle and mist it over their sweet potato leaves once every 2 weeks during the heat of the summer, while small-scale farmers can scale this up by brewing larger batches in clean barrels and applying it across their fields using a tractor-mounted sprayer. Apply this protective foliar tonic during the early morning hours so the leaves have plenty of time to dry in the gentle sun, ensuring your crops stay strong, resilient, and ready to deliver a massive harvest that will feed your family all winter long. Every single week, this channel is completely dedicated to one clear, unwavering goal: helping everyday households, passionate home gardeners, and small-scale farmers grow real, abundant food using simple, cost-effective remedies that actually work. There is no fluff here, no overly complicated systems, and no expensive chemical products. Just honest, time-tested gardening wisdom built to save you money and put fresh, healthy food on your table. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and being a vital part of this growing family. Your support means the world to me. If you haven't already, please drop your location in the comments right now. Because whether you are tending to a few small pots on a high-rise apartment balcony or managing rows of crops in the middle of a vast farming field, this channel is built specifically for you. Stay tuned because in our very next video, I am going to reveal a spectacular, hidden household ingredient from your medicine cabinet that can completely eliminate destructive tomato blight in less than 24 hours. Until then, grab a container, try out one of these simple remedies, and get growing.